It's, of course, 3 days to the election, so let's look at where we've been to. And agenda item number 4 is one component of agenda items of the National Accord Reconciliation Agreement that was signed on 28 February 2008. After the country had plunged into a constitutional and political crisis that led to a paralyzed wave of violence following the December 2007 disputed presidential elections, we have reached the 5th anniversary since the accord was signed, and tonight we analyze the developments that the government has accomplished its final year in a coalition. And first off, this is what item number 1 says: addressing the post-election violence crisis, reconcile communities, mitigate against future conflicts and reforms. And we are critically going to look at that. Looking at the first off, one of the first items in the agenda, if we can have that board, please. There you go. Stop violence and restore fundamental rights and liberties. And what this says is the main agenda items were to address the crisis, reconcile communities, and mitigate against future conflicts. And among this was mediation to restore peace. And we remember former United Nations Secretary General Kofi Annan in that. The Grand Coalition was formed. Actually, it ends this year, and the creation of a new constitution. Going on to the second item on the agenda, humanitarian crisis that involved resettlement of internally displaced persons, that's the IDPs. And one of the milestones that the government has had to do with that is hundreds of IDPs are still languishing in camps. As you know, government only relocated at least 60% of IDPs in the country, and this systematically leads the country to, or the government, with a huge hurdle to restore or relocate the internally displaced persons to their respective areas. Looking on at item number 3, resolve the political crisis in the country, and a formation of a grand coalition government, of course, led to an occurrence or a creation of 2 governments there, the ODM, you remember, and the PNU. But over time, there have been failures by principals to agree on appointments, on decisions. And you remember the recent appointments of Deputy Police Inspector General, which Prime Minister alleged to have not been consulted by the President. Finally, agenda item number 4, and this is to address constitutional, legal and institutional reforms, inequality, youth employment and land reforms. And formation of new constitution, of new judiciary was one of them. Independent commissions were formed. This included IEBC, the Land Commission and the Ombudsman, if you like. The Police Service Commission was also formed, a appointment of new Inspector General, and also we have also the appointment of the Inspector General, which is happened within the 5 years of the National Accord. And this is what the government has done so far with the help of the NCIC, and it keeps on doing that in preparation of the next election, which is 3 days away. And like I said, this is the last year of the Grand Coalition.